for that. And I was, I was interested in helping others, not in a war, basically.
So were you
So
trained up? Were you trained up as a nurse then, a male nurse for the
yeah,
hospital?
yes, I was trained as a health assistant. I was not
A
in the
health
medical.
assistant. Okay, very good. Now you mentioned singing there. You talked about a group with the in the orphanage. Is that where your love of music came from to start with?
It is, it is. I mean, we were singing from our childhood, and my voice was okay. By the way, today my voice is a little bit distorted, so maybe some people are saying, his voice is, distorted. How is he gonna sing? Yeah. So because I've been preaching and singing the last 3 days, so my voice is a little bit distorted. But back then, I was so interested in music, so I've got
Hmm.
3 albums. It's published, and I'm still singing. But that's where the interest was came from, I think.
So okay, you became a singer. How did you transition into a singer songwriter then? Do you play the guitar, piano, or?
I do play guitar. It's a self-learning by try and
Mhm.
error. So I can't read the notes, but I can play, especially that I
Okay.
can write my own song. So yeah, I
So
love
so when did you start writing songs, and or why did you start writing them?
it. Say that again, please.
I said, when did you start writing songs, or why
Oh,
did you start writing them? Yeah, yeah.
I think this is probably 1990 when I went to uh, the capital city to be trained in the hospital for health assistant. There was a good musician there, playing guitar, and he
Mm-hmm.
heard singing. He heard me singing. It's a different someone's song. Basically, I was just copying the song, and he encouraged me. Your voice is so good. Why don't you have your own song? And I try to pray about it, think about it, and write about and then I start to have my own song. So my first album was published in 1995.
Okay.
That is in Eritrea, the first in Eritrean Pentecostal and Evangelical Church to be published in a professional studio.
Very good.
So, a story was made that day, and there was people coming from Ethiopia actually, because they heard my album, they like it, the sound and everything. So they came to Eritrea to publish their songs as well. So
So
yeah,
it sounds like they were quite good, the albums then.
it must be. Yeah, it was really good. It was really good. Yeah, I think it was the first in East African studio. It's called Atmos Studio.
Excellent. Now, when you look at songwriters and worship today, how do you feel about that? The way it's the music, sorry, the Christian music business is heading, shall we say?
It has so many good things. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
the technology, the music, and everything advanced. But
Yeah.
at the same time, sometimes, when you rely only on music and technology,
Yeah.
when you don't have, the spirit, if you like, it's not really helpful. So it has to be both. Using the technology is good, but at the same time, to sing, in anointing and, in the power of God is, wonderful as well.
Excellent. So things were going great for you. You were in church. You were working in the hospital. You decided to become full time, but all of a sudden, then came the persecution,
Yeah.
and you had to leave.
Yes.
How did that make you? Oh, I meant to ask you before that. Where did you meet your wife at this stage?
My wife, where did I meet my wife?
Yeah.
In the church. She was a choir. So I
Right.
met her there and, married and our first child, and then we we crossed the border and everything, so with our child, she was 6 months old. So my beautiful is, one of the most beautiful wife, and she's so patient and wise. So through all these, circumstances, we have been together, and
Mm-hmm.
we're still laughing. I know there was a time we were crying together, and we are still laughing, when we see back, our story.
I was going to ask you that because I mean, life seemed quite good and happy. You're in the church, and then all of a sudden, as a family, you had to leave your country and everything. So, were you scared, or did you fear or anything? Or? when it all happened?
Mix. There was a time that I was scared, because what happened if I have been caught up, when I crossed the border.
Yeah,
And, when you have, wife and child, in the Sahara and the Mediterranean Sea, what happens, if anything happens, tragedy or whatever, it's a lot of responsibility, a lot of
yeah.
thought. But what do you do when you don't have any options,
Just keep
Uh,
going.
you just keep going, whatever the opportunity is. So, but I thank God, the people who have got money and wealthy people, they used to do, visas and other stuffs, from Sudan. But I didn't have that, so I have to choose one way, and I have to
Hmm.
cross the Sahara and the Mediterranean Sea.
Yeah, you took the hard road by the sound because it went from bad to worse when you got on the ship
Indeed,
and you
indeed.
hit the storm and there was holes in the ship and you ended up in prison in Libya.
Yep.
And that must have been terrifying, was it?
Yes, I mean, especially when we enter into the prison,
Hmm.
we found people there and we asked them, how long have you been here? 6 months and 5 months. And especially after crossing the Sahara, for 15 days more. And when we end up, in prison, it's just shocking, basically. And you don't know when you are going to be released,
Yeah,
and the treatment was not really good either,
true.
so a lot of things, it makes your decision like, to regret basically, why did I do that? I must be a stupid person, and I'm unfortunate, unlucky, a lot of things, it comes to your mind. But when it's once you pass through them, if things that doesn't, the things that doesn't make you what is that called? The things that doesn't kill you make you strong, basically.
Stronger. Yeah.
So it makes me stronger even.
I mean, did you ever even think you would make it through at any
No,
stage?
especially, trust me, this is George. I mean, when I crossed the Mediterranean Sea, I was
No.
absolutely lost my mind.
I
I
mean, there's a
was,
lot of talk. There's a lot of talk at the moment about refugees and what have you coming to the Europe and UK. I mean, you said it took you 5 years to get to the UK. So, what did you feel like when you landed in the UK? Life Stories Worldwide is on YouTube, and it's very easy to subscribe to our channel. Just click the bell and subscribe, and receive notifications of when we are live, or simply watch any of our other videos. So check it out and give us a visit.
uh, again, mix, you get happy. I made it through, but the atmosphere is different, the culture is different, the weather is
Mm-hmm.
different, the system is different, so you have to adjust many things basically, and you get encounter different kind of responses from people that really like you and the
Yeah,
people that don't like you. Yeah, but nothing is worse than what we have experienced basically. So I love the UK. I have been dignified. I have been treated like a human being, and I have
mm-hmm.
been allowed to do whatever I want to. The opportunity, they allow me to integrate. I work with a very good church, a beautiful team, and my neighbors and so many people. It gives me an opportunity basically to be the person who I want to be. So it's beautiful. So I
Excellent.
miss my country.
So,
And
were your other two children born in the UK?
yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
And how are the kids doing today?
they are doing okay. They're two of them are in the uni, and one of them are
Mm-hmm.
A levels.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're beautiful people. I mean, they're enjoying it.
I mean, even before that, you said you were not very good. Your mental state wasn't very good. And if you had a gun, I mean, were you considering ending everything?
Yes, well, I mean, this is a child again thinking. This is
Mm-hmm.
out of anger, you know, uh, that's he just contemplated things basically. Uh, this is many, many years ago. I'm just to explain the situation that I were at basically. Uh,
Yeah.
you know, the being angry and being, uh, in a terrible situation basically. But it has been a while. I mean, after 14 years old, I just, the most, happiest person in the world, and the most peaceful person in the world as well. And isn't it wonderful? God's power, God's grace can
Hmm.
transform our darkness into light, a chaos into beautiful things. That's what I'm trying to paint. Yeah.
Excellent. So when you came to the UK, how was it difficult, or was it easier for you to get accommodation and find a place to live and get a job even? How long did
It,
that take for you?
no, that's very easy. It's very easy. I mean, compared to what we have experienced,
Yeah.
it's very easy. It's very easy. It's very supportive, very beautiful. I mean, I can't ask more. I can't ask more.
Excellent. So so what did you work? Did you get a job in the UK, or did you go working for a church, or what? Or
Yeah, I was working as an interpreter, and there was a community there as well. I was pastoring, and
hmm
now I've done my, master's in leadership. I've done my MIT ministry in training. I get
yeah.
ordained, professionally with Elim, Elim Church, and I've done my PhD as well. It's just
Wow.
so it's so beautiful. I mean, I can't say enough. I can't be thankful enough for the things that I have now.
Okay, of course. Well, you've been on the BBC, but you'll be more famous, of course, being on here, of course. But
Not
what
really.
was it like? What was it like when you were asked to speak at Parliament?
It's about, in my experience, basically, the struggle of refugees. How do they come? Why do they come? Sometimes people think, some people are, forced, to. It was not a choice, but it's forced, and
Hmm.
many reasons on how we make better, the life of refugees, and even how to stop, refugees as well, immigration you know,
Hmm.
uh, many, many, many stories, but particularly was, my story, because I have experienced it, through all journeys. So to understand, what makes them to make that kind of decision, you know, uh, it's a risky life. People
Yeah.
are risking their life, and why? What is the cause? What is the reason behind that? What makes them to do?
Hmm.
So it's my life testimony, basically. But at the same
Excellent.
time, not only that, transformation, integration as well. I
Yeah.
have come in as a refugee here, but I am here, to be used by the church and, in the community, and contributing, hopefully, to the community. So, you know, uh, you can be useful. You can integrate, with other communities and nationalities, and you can be, for a good purpose.
And are you still involved today in that kind of work, shall we say, in integration and
Oh
refugees?
yeah,
Yeah.
yes, we do. Yeah,
T-
I
t-
mean, we have put a very good church here in
mhm.
Huddersfield, Elim Huddersfield Church, and beautiful people. So we welcome refugees, and we help them. Even for the government, we help them. How to integrate, how to facilitate things, and
Yeah.
they are very dedicated people and good people. So sometimes I involve with them as well.
So you said, just going back to your albums, you've got three albums. You made one in Eritrea. Have you made any in the UK?
Yeah, as soon as I have arrived in 2006, I made
Mhm.
one.
Life Stories Worldwide is broadcast live every Monday night at 8 p.m. UK time. We broadcast on YouTube, Facebook, and StreamYard. Why not join us every Monday night at 8 p.m. UK time for Life Stories Worldwide?
Integrinia. One of the songs I made in English. My English was terrible, but I tried to uh, to listen to the English people as well. So it didn't go well, but I tried at least, my best.
And are you still involved in playing today? Do you play at church and lead worship?
Sometimes I do. I do.
Mhm.
Especially in our Eritrean congregation. So, for example, I've been in Birmingham, so there was a big community, Eritrean, Ethiopian, and
Okay.
the second generation, they don't understand Tigrinya well. So I have to sing, and preach to them in English and sing for them in Tigrinya and in English. So I involve. I love worshiping.
And have your kids taken up any musical instruments or anything like that?
So probably I'm terrible at parenting. I don't know how to teach them. I tried, and I begged them, but none of them are interested. So
Oh,
yeah,
and how supportive has your wife been through all of this?
very much so. I mean, without being be part of my life, I would make,
Mm.
difficult decisions, and she's so patient, I mean, it's when you travel together in a very dangerous and paralysis journey, I've got to be
Mhm.
together. You have got to be patient and character. So my wife is the most blessed person that I ever know.
Excellent. Um, you mentioned there about making decisions. Um, on this particular program, we always ask one question of the guests, and that question is: of all the decisions that you have ever made, what is the best decision that you've made?
The day that I made the decision to accept Jesus Christ as my personal Savior and Lord, that changed everything. It took me from nothing into something, from invaluable to a very valuable person, and then from darkness into light. That day, that decision, it can be happened by me, but the grace of the Lord, that decision makes me ever and ever happy.
Thank you so much for speaking to us here at Life Stories Worldwide, Daniel. Of course, this will go. Sorry, did I call you Daniel? I did. Just to remind everybody, the name of the book is called Navigating the Wilderness, and it's available on Amazon. And
Through the
is that about navigating the wilderness spiritually or actual physically that you've been through yourself?
As both, unfortunately, I went through both. As
Mhm.
I did, I lost my family and then traveled through the Sahara Desert, and even spiritually and financially, I've got all of them. So it's
Mhm.
navigating through wilderness.
Well, Daniel, it's been fantastic speaking to you, and I'm going to say hello, Alan. Welcome back.
Thank you, George. Thank you, Daniel, for sharing. Thank you for answering those questions that George put to you. But thank you all for sharing again a message of hope for people who've been watching. And you heard how Daniel said how his life was transformed. And you can have that same experience. And it's all by trusting Jesus, putting your trust in Him as your Lord and Savior. He will give you a completely transformed life. You will know a peace you've never known before when you do that. So thank you so much, Daniel. Thank you, George. Thank
Thank
you,
you. I
Howard. If you
appreciate
want more information, go to our website. You can find lots of information there, lifestoriesworldwide.com. You'll find out how you can download the Bible app to study more of the Bible. You can click the salvation prayer link. You can also find out how you can get to know God and lots of other information. You can watch these stories, life stories, on our YouTube channel, Life Stories Worldwide. You can watch them all. They've been going for over 2 years, almost 3 years now, I think. And you can watch these stories, and you can also listen to them again. You can go to Spotify and Life Stories Worldwide Radio. You can listen to these stories while you're walking, while you're driving your car. Please go to our YouTube channel, Life Stories Worldwide, and click on the share link and let other people know about these stories. And again, I would invite you to our Life Stories Worldwide Convention in Newport, South Wales on the 28th of October. The information is on our YouTube channel. And I also would invite you to join us again next week, next Monday at 8 o'clock UK time for another life story, this time coming to you from the USA. We have Major Moses George, who he's in the U.S. military. He is a Space Force officer currently studying at the USAF Air Command. His main military experiences roles include intercontinental ballistic missiles, GPS, and missile warning. Very interesting post. So please tell people about next Monday and listen to Major Moses George. Thank you so much for being with us. May God bless you. May you know the peace of God which passes all human understanding. And may the joy of Jesus fill your heart. Bye, everyone.
If you would like to speak to us here at Life Stories Worldwide Radio, you can simply by dialing +44 7943 550287. Call us now